Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and across the globe. Welcome to Real Talk Corner. Hadassa, how are you?
Hi, I am fine, thank you. How are you, Esther?
Well, good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and all our beautiful, wonderful viewers, and everyone who is going to tune on later on. You know, this is Real Talk Corner, and I'm your host, Dr. Esther Cruickshank. And I don't know if my co-host is on as yet, but I guess she would be joining me shortly. And this is the place where conversations sparks change and every voice matter. And we are here on this beautiful Tuesday night. It is the 14th day in the month of April in the year 2026, and I'm grateful for the breath of God in my lungs. I don't care what nobody else have to say. It doesn't matter what I've done, what I'm still doing. I am thankful for the resurrection power of Jesus Christ, who is my Lord and Savior, and I'm proud to say that. And I'm also proud to say that things are happening in Trinidad and Tobago, despite all that the propaganda National Party leadership would like to say and like to create this negative atmosphere and this negative cloud over our Prime Minister, our beloved Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, and her team. And, you know, there is so much is going on. But you know what, people? I want you all to remember. Here is my co-host. So let me greet her one time with her bubbly face. Looking so shiny and nice. Welcome to my beautiful, wonderful, most, oh gosh, what are the words they use for this lady boy? Just outstanding. That's a Charles McLeod. Welcome to Real Talk Corner tonight. I missed you last week. I think it was, yes. How have you been? How was your day?
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. It's great to be on. Esther, thank you for asking. I had a great day, I must say, coming off of the Easter weekend. I hope everybody had a great Easter, blessed Easter, whatever you did to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. I hope everybody had a great time. But it's great to be back on. I'm happy to be on. I've been having some really terrible headaches, and I know what it is. Whenever I need to change my glasses, my eyes start to fight with my glasses. So when you stare at a computer screen all day, it makes it really difficult. It puts some strain, but I'm really glad to be here tonight. Esther, you look lovely as usual, and I'm
Thank you.
excited because unlike what we experienced under the PNM, every week under the Kamala Prasad Bisasa led administration, there is always good news to share with the public. And like Esther said, despite what the PNM propaganda machine likes to pump out, we always have good news to counteract and to let people know that a lot is happening and that they made the right choice on April 28, 2026. So let's talk about it.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And you know, I was about to tell people the negativity that the PNM leadership tries to hoover over our nation and to make people feel that this government has not been doing anything and this government has failed. Who have failed more than the PNM government? We are in the position we are in today because of what the PNM government has done over a decade, and even more than that. And you know what? I said it before, it's like what they give their followers and the people who support them to rub, like they swallow it down, they suck it down. I don't know what, but are we blinded? It is 1 year of the UNC government. And listen to me now. The things that they have brought this country into, the demise that they have put this country in, And now people are getting on as though the UNC have been here for 5 years or a decade. But we have already forgotten since the UNC has come into power under our leadership, the Honorable Kamala Prasad-Visesa, SCMP, what has been done. And tonight I had promised that we are going to share some of the things that has been done. But the latest has been the profit after tax by the NGC. Have you ever heard the PNM come out and tell us of any profit that they made while they were in power? Because any profit they make, it would have had to go in person's pocket, back pocket, side pocket, as the case may be. It was never going to be spoken of. But there is a list of achievements that the UNC government has already accomplished in 1 year, not even a full year yet, because we still have about 2 weeks to go. Okay, today is the 14th of April. 2 more weeks, actually 3 weeks before the UNC government came into power. And from this time going forward, we're going to be sharing on the things that has been done under our Prime Minister, who is a visionary, who is an intelligent woman, who has the ability to transform any economy, even the one with CARICOM. That, you know what is amazing, Hadassa, is that even CARICOM is attacking this woman. It was the Venezuelan with the PNM. Now it's CARICOM. So it's like all of them are a handful of demons coming against our Prime Minister in Trinidad and Tobago, when this woman is working tirelessly, using her brain. I mean, for who? Look at her age. You think she can't say, look, forget them, yes, whatever I said, forget them. And they're quick to remind her of what she said while she was campaigning. But everything that she said she's going to do, she's going to do it. But before good comes, there is always some ruffling, you understand, because of what took place. The soil have to dig up. It has been, what is called it, when it go down and it flatten. When there is a word when you're building, you throw the sand and you want it to pack down. You understand? All those soil had to dig back up because what? PNM has caused this country to run away like mad people with lawlessness and with everything that is indecent, everything that is negative. If you're going to talk about anything that the PNM did in the positive, it's hard to even think about it. But you know what? Stuart Young and the rest ready to always jump up. We made a profit, a 3 billion profit under after tax with the NGC. They want to say is what they did. Everything that happened now under the watch of our Prime Minister, who is working hard with her team, he and the others, those clowns are ready to say is what they did. Well, what you did didn't bear fruit nor bring fruit while you were there. And it has nothing to do with what you all did, because all that you did was put people's life in jeopardy, at risk with the criminal activity, the murder rates. You all need to think that is what you all did. Nothing that is happening now is because of what you all did. You all brought the worst situation to people's life, especially the people on the ground. You have bring people to tears. You have caused people to take their lives, commit suicide because of what you all put them through. When Petrotrin was closed down, the amount of people who was accustomed to a certain lifestyle took their lives because of what you all did. That is what you have to talk about. Penny and all of you, the most that are ungrateful people are the leadership of the PNM.
Indeed. I could talk now. because
I had to
because
stop because I will go on and on.
I know because I was going to listen to you all night. No, it really is amazing. And I feel like this is going to happen for the next 4 years. I feel anything that Kamala Pasabi Sesab is able to accomplish and will accomplish, the PNM is going to jump out of the bushes to say it was we do that, it was we who lay the groundwork and whatnot. But it doesn't make any sense. It is very contradictory because you all remember during the election campaign, Stuart Young told us that for the last 10 years they were learning and they were growing. So I don't understand how a bunch of amateurs, and we the who in fact turned out to be PNM guinea pigs because they clearly did not know what they were doing. How it is now
Exactly.
he wants to turn around and claim this magnanimous and amazing feat that she was able to pull off in 11 short months after 11 years of loss. You tell me how that making any sense. How you being there did not yield any fruit, and you not being there means that you did it. The math is not mathing.
Not adding. It is just not adding. And thanks for reminding us. He said that they were learning. I remember that statement. He was creeping and now trying to walk like a little babe. And all of a sudden now it's because of what you all done. Listen, people of Trinidad and Tobago, you need to remember we started this place. Everybody was under duress. Everybody was going through pains. You couldn't pay your bills. Things were just getting from bad to worse. The COVID came, and the COVID pandemic, that was a chaotic situation. Okay, people's business went through the crack. You could not afford, people were losing their homes, their vehicles, because financial institutions were just taking back everything. The government did not stand up for the people, didn't tell these institutions, look, we're going to pump in some money so that, you can assist people. They told you to allow for those who were landlords and so on and have employees, keep them on, and they're going to pay. Well, I guess some of them, they get a pocket full, but some of us didn't get 1 cent, even though we continue to pay employees and keep persons in your rental apartments. You did not get 1 cent. So, I mean, how could they even? It tells you that they have no shame. They have no shame. The PNM, the propaganda national movement, have no shame. The leadership has no shame, absolutely none. They would look you in the face and lie. You understand? They want to talk all kind of stuff about our prime minister, call her all kind of names. They have degraded that woman to nothing, but thank God she has a strong heart and a broad back. She is not intimidated by their foolish talk. They just want to tell that woman all kind of things, but the devil is a liar. He would put them back where they belong, because hello, if people use their sense, their brain, and their mind, and remember what they have gone through and what is happening now under this UNC government, they will never dip their finger in any ink for the PNM again, ever. Ever. People are losing their life, falling down from heart attack because of the job that was given to them. They were fooled. Many people are sick. And unfortunately, some of our family members and loved ones and friends had took those jobs. And you know what? They are dropping down like flies because of it. Young people, aneurysm, heart attack, going to sleep and not getting up. Come on. They fooled you all. And some of us, we still fool. We still so stupid in our mind. And I know people just get upset when I say it, but it is the reality. If you're not stupid, but you behave stupid, you think stupid, so therefore your actions are stupid. And because you're going through a little hardship, do anybody remember in 2015 after the UNC lost the election, how much hardship all of the persons who they sent home? Some of them, they're working now in this UNC government. They went in and they sent home the UNC people without giving them 2 weeks notice, a month notice. Some of these PNM people, they're in the ministries. They wouldn't leave. They wouldn't get off. They want to stay in leadership position. Hello, all you get all your tail off and go. Go. And let the people who have been waiting for a decade, let them get a job. It's a whole decade we suffered for. It's a whole decade we could not pay our bills. In some cases, not a whole decade, right? After the 5 years and whatever. And that is not for everybody. But what I'm saying, you PNM people, you're so bold-faced and shameless. You all are staying in the position. You're hearing now that just before the election, they sign off 3 years and 4 years contract. You all know it's an election. Why sign contract for those amount of years? And you very well know that they're leaving the treasury dry. How much contractors we are made to pay billions of dollars who they left owing. They didn't pay the people. It is difficult because you all are not in it, you don't know, so you could bump your gum and talk a pack of stupidness. But you need to get real, you need to get the facts. Under this government, we're going to see greater turnarounds. The years flying away. But things are happening. And for CARICOM, all the bacchanal, and I don't even want to talk about those things with CARICOM and Minister of Foreign Affairs trying to lie and bring this reproach to our ministers. Listen, all ain't tired. All ain't tired. How many times I've said that you all need to sit down and shut up and learn. Listen and learn how to run a country. You brought this country to nothing. And some of you who are followers and supporters, get the facts and stop talking nonsense, because what you all are talking doesn't make any sense. Get into the ministry. Well, hear what's going on. You know, Hadassa, that some of them, I don't know how they're still on our board, state board. There are PNM supporters who are still on our state board. Some of them so bold-faced enough. All the time you have been a PNM supporter, but you might have voted for the UNC, and that gave you the rights to stay on boards and stay in position. And some of them, they're telling lies. They didn't even vote for the UNC. And then they would say, when UNC win, everybody wins. Yes, everybody is going to win, trust me. But you cannot be in leadership position. We have been working and we have make sacrifices, and we need to get leadership position. And you come and be where we would tell you what to do. Because at the end of the day, they are there with their own agenda, and they're undermining the agenda of this government to turn this economy around. And I am saying it's time for you to get out, have some shame, resign, and let the people who deserve to have those positions and who has an agenda to turn this economy around get in their position, because you all are not doing anything good. Right? And for the chairmen who are on state board that is under this UNC government, and you're being intimidated by these clowns, you all need to change your mind. And if you know you're not strong enough and you can't do the job, resign and let our Prime Minister put other people, because you all are not doing any good. It's going to be just like it was in 2010 to 15, when a whole set of PNM was there in position. And you know what? They undermine us. They came with email gate. They came with all kind of foolishness to cause people to say they're not voting for the UNC. The UNC thief. Up to today, you have people talking about the UNC thief between 2010 and 2015. All you have no mind. All you have no consciousness. All you have no brains. Something eat it out. You all didn't see what has been going on for the last 10 years, and you're bold-faced enough to talk them foolishness. All you're suffering more than the puppies and on the street suffering. And all you would still say those things, and I make no apology for what I'm saying, because you all need to wake up. You need to open your eyes and open your ears and clog it, because somehow you're not seeing and you're not hearing. But for those of us who have eyes to see, see well, and have ears to hear proper, because we were able, for the calendar year of 2025, made a profit through NGC of $3.4 billion. That's our rest my case.
No, indeed, and we have the video. I think we should let our Prime Minister inform us of it. Could we get that video, please, Mr. Producer?
Energy Minister tells TV6 News that following the government's discussions with Shell, there is to be an increase in production from the natural gas project he now calls Manatee Plus, which is set for first gas next year. This, as the Energy Minister says, equipment being transported by Shell in southeast Trinidad, as shown in a video circulating on social media, shows citizens can now see that significant work is being done in the energy sector. Jill Brown reports.
Energy Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal tells TV6 News there is a new development in and an apparent new name for the exploration project being pursued by global energy giant Shell in the Manatee gas field located within Trinidad and Tobago's maritime boundary.
The Manatee Plus project is one of the major projects for which we are eagerly anticipating first gas. Following discussions with Shell, our new government, with the mandate from the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bissessa to increase gas and oil production, we were able to increase the production expected from this project deemed Manatee Plus.
Minister Munilal was responding to a question from TV6 News about a video that has been circulating on social media of Shell's equipment being transported in Guagari along Trinidad's southeastern coast.
The transportation, as you have seen, of major processing equipment is a tangible element of this project, as citizens can now see that significant work is being done in the energy sector. It is always reassuring to see the physical elements of a development being constructed and installed, as it signals the development is becoming a reality.
Shell had previously stated the Manatee gas field will provide backfill for the Atlantic LNG facility in Point Fortin. Manatee belongs to the large Loran Manatee gas field, with the larger portion, Loran, being located in Venezuela's waters. On its website, Shell notes that in 2019, the government of Trinidad and Tobago and the government of Venezuela terminated the unitization agreement and entered into another government-to-government agreement, allowing each country to independently develop its respective share of the Loran Manatee field. On July 9, 2024, Shell's Trinidad and Tobago subsidiary announced that it had taken a final investment decision on the Manatee project. Since being elected into office in 2025, the UNC-led government has said local natural gas production is projected to recover from what it called years of underperformance. In June of last year, Energy Minister Munilal said his ministry was very focused on working with Shell to ensure the safe delivery of the Manatee project and first gas by 2027. Dr. Munilal expressed more optimism on Monday in his comments to TV6 News.
The Manatee Plus project is continuing as per schedule, and the activities over the past couple of days is testament to the investments that are flowing into the country, and particularly the energy sector. I take this opportunity to acknowledge the significant planning and logistics that would have gone into this operation, and we look forward to the production of first gas in the Manatee Plus project.
I feel very privileged and very happy today to stand here to make a very important announcement which should ring out very loud to every citizen of our beloved country. The NGC, the National Gas Company, is one of the crown jewels of our country. It is the most important of our state enterprises and the foundation of our economic survival and development. I have been provided with a copy of the unaudited financial statements of the National Gas Company of Trinidad for the year ended, calendar year ended 2025. And so it is a great sense of pride and a sense of accomplishment that I announce today that the National Gas Company has reported a profit after tax for the year ended 31st December 2025 of $3.285 billion. Mr. Speaker, let me repeat that figure, $3.285 billion in profit. This is the highest profit recorded by the NGC group of companies in 11 years. The highest profit, as I say, recorded by NGC in 11 years. This is double the profit of the previous year. What they could not have done in 10 years, we have done in 10 months.
Hadassa.
Indeed. So, what was actually very notable, she said that this was the highest performance in 11 years, which means that the last time that the NGC performed that well would have been also under her administration. And I always maintain that our problem has never been revenue so much. Yes, we of course need to do a much better job in terms of diversifying our economy, and we know our Prime Minister is working on that. But Trinidad and Tobago has always suffered from mismanagement and scant regard by the PNM for the public's purse. Because if they had stewarded this country better, we would have been able, or we would have all been beneficiaries, and we would have all benefited from a stronger economy, from people being able to have better paying jobs and everything. They have always mismanaged this country, and they have always squeezed opportunities and always made sure that their friends and families and things like that they got through. And what Kamala Prasad Bisasa is showing very, very early is that it is very important to be transparent so that people understand what is coming in and then how the money is going to be spent and what we are doing with it. I feel so proud because this report is also the end of 2025, which means they were able to turn that company around in 8 months. That type of performance, you cannot argue with it. It is undisputable, no matter what the PNM says. And I maintain they continue to beat up because they know that they look really bad. In the shadow of the giant that is Kamala Prasad Bisesa, they look weak, they look incompetent, and everybody could see that they were doing foolishness for the last 10 years. Back to you, Esther.
Weak, they look incompetent, and that is why they're making so much noise to see if they could, prevent the people from hearing the truth, from knowing the truth. But we know it. We know it. This baldhead one want to come and talk about HDC, right? And how much billions of dollars. It is 11 contractors. How much they used to give to their people. You never used to stretch nothing and give it to more than one contractor. Was 1 and 2 and 3 person would have got that 3 point whatever billion dollars. She want a place she come in to talk about 3 point something billion dollars. 11 contractors is benefiting from that.
They just have the audacity to ask the questions, but they never have the performance to match it.
That's
Under
right.
the last Kamala predecessor government, they were able in 5 years to build 7,000 houses. Under PNM, for 10 years, they built 4,000 houses, which means with whichever money they used and who contracted they give and who contracted they didn't give, they still did not perform to the extent where they were able to meet the demand for houses, to meet the demands for citizens to have homes, right? So
And
they
this
always want to ask what they're doing with the money, but you have no track record to talk about anyway.
none. No track record whatsoever. 4,000 in 10 years. Okay? We built 7,000 in 5 years.
It's 5 years.
What compare that? They need to shut up. I can't say it loud enough. They need to shut their mouth up. They are a bunch of blight in this country. They have always bring this place down to nothing. You want to talk about that? How much money they have wasted and take and do whatever they want to do with it, except to see about the people. How many hampers the Ministry of the People? How many wheelchairs? How many distributions we have had in 1 year that the PNM never did in probably the whole of the 10 years, 9 and plus years that they have been there. They need to stop talking. They're only making a certain noise to try to make people think that, they did something. Only didn't do anything. And what you all did cannot be compared to what is being done under this government in 1 year. We ain't even reached, we now going into a second year. In 1 year, we have surpassed all the things that you all have done put together in 10 years and more than that too.
Yes.
They have no shame. They have absolutely no shame. They want to talk about our Prime Minister. Producer put up that picture. I saw Penny, penniless, with a bottle. They just talk about class and talk. You as a woman, as the leader of the opposition, look at your position. What you doing with a beer in your hand? A beer bottle. Somebody probably realized what was going on and they run and put a glass in her hand. They have no class, no upbringing, and I keep telling people, I thought she would have been different. I thought she would have done different. But you know what? My thought was terribly wrong. Was terribly wrong. She's a classless person and she's just there for whatever she probably could get. Because I was expecting her to be more strong. What she don't realize is that they're just using her. They're using her. They don't even want her there. There is so much infighting because they don't want her there. She has no purpose there. She cannot exhibit her worth among them. because she's of no class. I feel ashamed as a woman, a Trinidadian woman, African woman in this country because of her. I thought she would have done better. No, but she have not. She's a disappointment, and you want to talk about our prime minister as a failure. Who is more failure than you? Use failure, disappointment, everything put together in one bottle. That's who you are. Penniless. And it's shameful.
You know, when you think about it, we really didn't have anything to go on for us to assume that she would have been better, because I think everybody was hoping for better. But if you think about it, you sat for 10 years under Keith Rowley. You said nothing of worth, of value concerning women's issues, concerning the amount of women who were slaughtered and who were killed. You said nothing when Andrea Barrett died. You all said people were making it political. She sat down and she said nothing for 10 years. So maybe the joke is on us for assuming that she would be better, but she is cut out of
So
the very same cloth.
we were assuming because of her quietness and that she
Yes.
would have been better, and because at times we saw that she was being bullied by the leadership and how they treated her, we thought that probably she would be a better person. But she can't step her foot in our prime minister's shoes. She can't even put her big toe in the shoes, much more for the foot. She doesn't operate in class at all, and all you're seeing is negativity coming out from her. Negative, more negative and more negative. You're not standing for anything that is right, and always want to question our prime minister. Who is you to question a woman of class, a woman of integrity, a woman with a heart after God, to look after the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago? That is what God-like thinking people would do. Look after the people who is in your care, who has given you the opportunity and the approval to make life better for them. But no, all you do is stick with foolishness. This is why they will put you out. And this is why the PNM is dead. They're only going through the motion. They're dead. Because nobody, in the right sense, after the next few years, when things start to happen in this country, would even think about them anymore. You know how we ungrateful in this country. Once things going good and we could party and we could lie, we just forget about everything else. All right? But not only that, there wouldn't be anything to forget. They are going to remember where they came from, because we would ensure that we remind them. Because all this suffering, the nurses who want to protest, and all these people who want to protest as though the UNC have them in the position they are in. No. The place has no money. I can't even talk about Dr. Tim Gopi Singh as the chairman of NC Regional Health Authority. Listen, this is the kind of people we want on boards. These are the people, they share the agenda of the UNC to make this place a better place and to seek out the good, to ensure that wastage is a thing of the past. He's saving $150 billion.
$50 million, yes.
They don't want that.
Talk about that.
Yes, go
I
right
was just
ahead.
going to talk about that.
Go ahead.
I am convinced. No, let me start over. I maintain that I still believe that people have the right to protest by all means. But I am more and more convinced every single day that what is happening now is a direct result of the status quo being shaken up within the medical fraternity or within the hospitals and stuff like that. Because when I think about all of it, when I think about the fact that the last time that the nurses actually received an increase, it was under Kamala Prasad Visasa. When I think about they said nothing, they kept their mouth shut, and they grind through under Keith Rowley because they dare not protest. As a matter of fact, they couldn't, because he would have buffed them and he would have tell them, if you get a raise, you would lose your job. threaten people like that. When I think about the fact that they work all through COVID and all they get was a clap and a tin of biscuit, and they still said nothing, and they waited until now, I honestly believe that this is deliberately orchestrated to cause a distraction and to shed bad light on the great work that our Prime Minister is doing. And of course, with the help of Dr. Tim Gopi Singh, because what he has managed to uncover, right? There is a, hold a minute, there's a whistleblower who is currently employed within the system who detailed a method by which overtime can allegedly be inflated with the assistance of senior personnel. In one example, a nurse who remains on duty beyond their shift because of a late replacement, sometimes for as little as 1 hour, can reportedly be recorded as having worked an entire double shift. Meanwhile, the nurse who arrived late is allegedly not penalized or documented, effectively hiding accountability. Right? And people are going home with all this money. And I honestly believe that this is so, it reeks of P&M because they have an aversion. They seem to be allergic to accountability, to responsibility, to honesty, to being upright. They can only operate in corruption, right? So that Dr. Tim Gopi Singh is now revealing that this racket um, goes as deep as $150 million in people getting overtime, in what else he said, in people getting contracts that they cannot find any tenders for, up to $140 million of people getting janitorial contracts that they don't need. It is superfluous. So what is actually happening is that there was a status quo. People were comfortable. People were making a lot of money under false pretenses, and now that has been pulled from under them. It is the same thing that happened with URP and CPEP, right? It was a lot of corruption, people eating a lot of eating our food, so to speak, going home with money that they didn't actually work for. And now that the UNC is here to set all these things right, it is causing a lot of aggravation. Because if your regular salary is supposed to be, I don't know, 12, $15,000, but you were taking home $80,000, you will be upset when they take that away from you. So I am not saying that the nurses don't deserve a raise. Of course. And I'm sure the Prime Minister is going to look into that, and she's going to make sure that people have fair wages that match the cost of living that we are currently under. But it is not going to be um, business as usual. It is not going to be a field day. It is not going to be you stay for 1 hour overtime, but you get paid 8 hours, and all the nonsense that has been happening, right? And this is what Penny's supposed to be talking about. As the opposition leader, you don't have to come and agree with everything Kamala Prasad Bisesa says, but you're supposed to stand up for dignity. You're supposed to stand up for justice. You're supposed to stand up for those things. And I do not understand why that seems to be devoid and absent from every single person in the PNM camp. Back to you, Esther.
And it is all because of greed, Hadassa. These people are greedy. They are lawless. Okay? Under this government, you get in pay, but you have to work. We cannot sit down in our office because there is so much work that has to be done. It is nothing like sitting down in air condition. You have to get out there and get the job done, find out what is happening, and come up with solution. That is what this government is doing. They're going to the ends of every crease and every cranny, according to the people, looking for what has to be fixed, what has to be done, putting things in place, but it can't happen all in one as the finances come in, because what some Trinidadians don't want to understand is that this time, for real, they have emptied the treasury. You understand? So our prime minister, when you know why they used to be asking where she would get the money from, if you remember when questions are asked and
Yes.
the opposition say where you're getting the money from, because they knew it had no money and what they were planning to do. Plenty of them still lucky they're working, they would have been out of a job. But greed and lawlessness, this is what the PNM has brought us to, to sit down and collect big money, get contract and don't do the work. I'm not saying it's only under the PNM this may happen, but not under this government presently, because our prime minister is not going to allow it. But if we are really truthful and honest, we are seeing that people are working, the CPEP and the gang and all these kind of things. It don't have that no more. The program that they have under the corporation, you have to go out and work. It ain't nothing like going for an hour and 2 hours and sit down and go home. You have to work. By the sweat of your brow, you shall eat. That is what the Bible says. But the PNM is so lawless and reckless, and every less that you could think about, it falls under the PNM. That is what they have trained the people to do. Sit down and just take money. This is why they kill one another, because they have developed that spirit of greediness and selfishness. It's all about themselves. Only a handful of who getting it. And when others who see that you're working them hard and you're not giving them, they're ready to kill you, right? And all of this is because of the PNM leadership. So I really, really not disappointed in Penniless, I was just expecting better from her. But she sit down there and she go against everything, every negative that she could find to talk about. Anything this government does, she do it. And then come to talk about we are failures. Well, if we are failures and we making profit and we give the children in education, give laptops, how much 1,000 laptops, books that, that's how you remember. The last time we were in power, the prime minister gave out laptops and the books were in the school. If you ever talk to any family member who had children, the parents didn't have to face no store to buy books. You were getting the books, you sign for them. As you leave the class, you give it back and so on. And the intent was to do e-books. I recall that as the PNM came back in power, you know what? Somebody pocket had to get full. So go back and buy books. They care about anybody. You parents, they didn't care about you. You had to find the money to buy the books for your children. Some of you could not have afforded it. You could not have afforded. This is why when COVID came in, you all had no laptops for your children. They had to stay home, and plenty of those children fell through the crack. They are uneducated now, and I hope by God that we can reach out to them to help them, because without an education, you're lost. And our prime minister presently always say that without an education, you don't have anything. Go to school and learn well, because without it, you would catch real hell. And that is what you are seeing now. All they know to do, listen, when you talk to some of these young people, some of these people, you want to give them a job, but they have no education. All they can do is do a CPEP fortnight in and fortnight out. They can't do anything else because they're not educated. They have nothing in their brain more than filth. It is so, and this is what the PNM has brought, especially the African people too. Especially them. Yes, it have Indian people in the mix, but especially you're not seeing no Syrians in that position. You're not seeing Chinese in that position, but the African people and some of the Indians. Just think about it. This is what the PNM has done. And then they want to talk? Shameful.
Shameful, because they have not only mismanaged the public purse, they have also mismanaged the most important asset, which is our human resource. And they did not invest in the last generation, and they didn't seem like they wanted to do that. But keeping on this theme that I've been talking about mismanagement, because I've been really thinking about it. I went back and I did some research back to when Basdio Pandey was prime minister, and that was 1995 to 2001. And back then, oil was between $8 and $20 a barrel, and he was able to do so much. The last 10 years under PNM, Culm Imbert enjoyed a very, very steady rate of oil and gas between 65 to $75 a barrel for the period. There were also some windfalls where oil was $100 a barrel. This is what he was dealing with. Not only that, when they came back into power after Kamala Persad Bissessar and the PP government lost that election, they also had a very healthy HSF fund, and Petrotrin was still open. And these people could not manage that, right? So it is never about if they had the money or not. And on top of what Esther was saying, they also got rid of a lot of social programs, a lot of things that help people. They got rid of all those things because they say they need to save money. But for the life of us, we cannot see what they did with the money. We are supposed to be having them on the back foot. We're supposed to be asking them, what did you do with the money? You can't account for it. We can't see anything good that happened that benefit anybody besides a few, besides the 1%, you know? So it has really been bugging me that I don't know, it's so brazen. They're so brazen to come and stand up in parliament to ask these ridiculous questions. And I am so glad that no matter what they come with, we always have good news to share with the people, because I am sure they must be just as astounded. How is this woman finding the money? Because we know we leave the treasury empty. We know it had nothing, but yet still, in 10 months, the TTFS was able to take uh, to receive six tenders, six, not one that is serving not one or two fire stations, but four. I think it's Mayaro, Pinal, Point Fortin, and Tobago. That is amazing. That is performance. That is what we voted for, because there is a need, right? We cannot say, thank you very much, Mr. Producer. We cannot say that, well, we don't have the money. Our Prime Minister promises that she will find it, and she is ensuring that with her new Minister of Homeland Security, that no more citizens are going to die in fires because of incompetence, because of lack of equipment, because they don't have the tools to do their job. Penny should shut up, because they lost one of their own, MP Julian from Arima. They lost her to a fire, and it was very sad and it was very tragic. But I said, if they had stewarded things better, and if they had made sure that the TTFS was equipped, and if they had made sure that the fire hydrants had water in it, she would still be alive today. That is the legacy of the PNM, to the point where their own incompetence touched even one of their own. So she should really sit down and shut up and learn something, right? So I am very pleased with how our Prime Minister has been doing. It has been 1 year. It has been one miraculous, stellar, amazing, outstanding year, and I look forward to more of it. Back to you, Esther.
Yes, not only do we look forward, but let's go back a bit. From the time the UNC government came into the corridors of power, you recall, Imbert previously would have raised gas and laugh at the people mockingly.
Yes.
You understand? I raised gas and they ain't protest yet and blah, 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 blah. But from the time this government came into power, you remember she reduced gas by $1. So if your tank was a 50, 50-liter tank, you were saving $50 every time you go to fill your tank. And that was the first thing. And you know that there was a negative on that as well. I said nothing that this government did was appreciated by a lot of people and by the opposition.
Why they didn't reduce premium too?
You understand? If you have a vehicle for premium, hell, you have money, go sell it and buy one that use super, or change something and put super in it. You understand? It was for the people on the ground. Our Prime Minister is always concerned about the masses of the people who are the ones who cannot afford luxurious stuff. So if you had a vehicle for premium, hello, and you can't afford it, sell it and buy one that puts in the super. So that was the first thing she did. All right. Also, the same budget also said VAT would be removed from additional basic food items, including things like table salt, Morby coconut water, pumpkin, watermelon, cucumber, lettuce, and tomatoes, effective, that was October 17, 2025. And then the other big one, the public sector compensation. The budget stated that the chief personnel officer was instructed to submit a revised 10% offer for the 2014, 2016, and 2017 to 2019 period. And people was complaining, you remember, as we came into power, it's like they wanted the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance to get out a magic wand and just wave it and see the money come, wave it and see gas, wave it and see everything happen. You understand?
The same
they were so ungrateful.
001.
Very much. And these are the things that Trinidadians, the citizens, need to remember. Those who are ungrateful, because she have kept her word. And not that it had anything there, but she always said that it is going to happen. She is going to make it happen with her team of ministers. And she did. They get the 10% and they still wasn't happy. All right? Then you have Ministry of Education. The clearest everyday impact here are school support, school repairs, student devices, and school security. The Ministry of Education said that by August 25, 2025, it had already issued 5,248 school supplies and book grants payment, with the remaining 14,752 scheduled by September the 5th, 2025. In the budget, government also said 18,000 devices were distributed to Form 1 students at a cost of 146 million. That the vacation repair program upgraded 279 schools, and that 95 special reserve police officers have been placed in 50 high-risk schools. That's you remember how many fights there used to be in school. Like, people forget how much starving. Every day, every other day, you're seeing the videos going viral. It's fight, it's stab, who reaching in hospital, who getting kicked up. There was so much of those fights in school. Are you hearing about those things anymore? We so ungrateful. They get laptops, okay? It's the first time in history that school repairs were done in a timely basis. Down to the NPTA was talking about it. Everybody was talking. There was no school. Listen, Trinidad and Tobago citizens, all you need to check all yourself, because ungratefulness is worse than witchcraft. You hear? All you need not to be ungrateful. These are the things. And all of this was done in less than 6 months. In a country where the PNM has sucked it down like vampire and sucking us to nothing. And you have a woman who came in as our Prime Minister and her team and make things better for us, and we still complaining and we listening to the opposition, the blight opposition. No, have some shame, people. All you need to get real. So there was 11 million in support for 13 partner schools, dedicated exam concessions for special needs students. And let me tell you, there's a great need for special needs children and families because a lot of those children, they have no school to attend to because they're far in between, and the teachers, they are overwhelmed by the amount of children that they try to accommodate, because a lot of them have a good heart. And for an average household, these are the kinds of measures that affect back to school cost, safety, and whether a child gets support early enough. And all of this happening in education, the food program. Listen, everything was, are you hearing any problems now? The children getting their laptops, they're getting their grants to assist them. And let me say this, it have those PNM people inside those ministries who are trying to frustrate some parents. They are in different ministries. They're not allowed, even in the Ministry of Health. There are things and they're hiding it, they're thief in it, right? So that the patients in the hospital cannot get what they need to get. The ministry, the health items with the most direct citizen impact are closer access, shorter waiting, more medicine, and better equipment. Government stated that extended hours health centers now operate in 12 communities. I recall in 2010 to 2015, I think it started in 2012 or 13, all the health centers were open right through until in the night. I don't know if you recall that.
Yes.
Health centers
I
were
remember.
open overtime down to Saturdays. When the PNM came, they shut it down.
I
You
remember.
just
They
have,
shut it
what,
down.
a 8 to 4 or something like that. And one or
Yeah.
two centers, maybe in San Juan, Barataria, one or two areas, they remain open. But
Yes.
under our Prime Minister, when she was the former Prime Minister, before the former Prime Minister, this is what happened. She was concerned. She wanted the health facilities to be open. Health centers were open. It is now coming back in place again. Centers are now in operation in 12 communities, which is meant to reduce pressure on hospitals, because in the evening when you fall sick, you had to run to the hospital. You had no simple thing that you can go into a community center, health center to
Yeah.
get. You were not getting it under this PNM. CDAP program was modernized with new medicines. Remember, CDAP was a thing of the past at one point, and yet you have how much? Over 80 million. I don't know why the crying health minister ain't make a jail yet. I hope to see that happen. Over 80 million or billion dollars in medication in our storage that spoil, that expire, that cannot be used. All these things, Trinidadians, don't forget it. You all need to remember, you cannot say that you're living in a worse position now than then. Come on, stop listening to foolishness. It also said that the CDAP program was modernized with new medicines for hypertension, mental health, and autism, benefiting about 300,000 citizens. Unmanufactured and equipment, the budget said the Port of Spain General Hospital Central Block is to be operational by March 2026. The Sandy Grande Hospital is to be commissioned in the fiscal year. 60 million is being spent on equipment included CT scanners, X-ray units, and surgical towers. 100 million is earmarked for dialysis, 20 million for cardiac care, 10 million for orthopedic, eye surgeries, dental services, and it go on and on and on. And don't forget the Children's Hospital and the Children's Life Fund, all that the PNM had squashed. You
Yes.
have a beautiful children's hospital in Couva. Listen, I went in there. I was privileged to go in there on a tour because of my position now to do certain things. And listen, if you see the equipment's in box, Hadassa, for a decade. The PNM so wicked. If they so love the people and want to play, they're coming out and protesting with the people now. What happened for the decade? They really cared about people. They would have opened up that so many children lose their lives because they were not able to access medical attention or medical care. And these people want to come out and talk now and talk about the Prime Minister is a failure. She's a failure in the dark place. Well, I can't say it. I just want to say some things here, but I can't say it. She's a failure. She's Ministry of Public Utilities. This is one of the ministries people feel in a very blunt household way. Water, light bills, and street lights. The budget states that between May and July 2025, over 150 million was invested in utility projects. People who wasn't getting water, for God's sake, all you're getting water now, be ungrateful and talk the truth.
Yes.
Talk the truth. I was in that predicament as well, having to pay for a truck to come and put water in my tanks. Now I haven't had that problem. Every night I'm hearing water because I don't be home any day. Every night I hearing water filling up my tanks. Okay? You all need to remember where we came from. Don't forget it. And where you are now and where we heading, because in the next year it's going to get better. Stop being ungrateful, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Whether you're following and supporting the PNM or not, stop being ungrateful, because a lot of things is happening for us and we just have to have a little more patience. Everybody is going to benefit from everything that you ought to benefit from. Through the Utilities Assistance Program, 7.2 million in water and electricity bill relief reached more than 12,000 families, while 1.8 million went towards tanks and solar panels for rural households. Government also said water output improved in several places, including Carapal by 1.5 million gallons per day and Navet by 600,000 gallons per day. In Superior, supply reportedly improved from once every 9 days to 3 times weekly, and Maracas Bay moved to 5 days weekly service. The same budget assigns 300 million for pipeline replacement in Port of Spain and San Fernando and Arima. what the PNM was doing for a decade. What were they doing for a decade? This
But
is less than a
Esther,
year, Trinidad and
we talk
Tobago.
about that deliberately broken because when people don't have water, how the man who does sell water going and make money?
Thank you very much. And the man who's selling the water is their
It's
family and their
bubble and
friends.
corruption as usual. That is the PNM special.
I want to say thank you to our Honorable Prime Minister. Thank you to the Minister of Utilities. Thank you for the Minister of Housing. Thank you for the Minister of Health. Thank you to the Minister of Education. These ministers have been working. Look at how they're looking from the time they came into power to now. They're tired, but they're not even taking a rest. And I pray God for strength upon them. And please, all you take care of yourself, because them PNM Jumbie, they like witchcraft and obia, They love it to the core. They say they're serving God, but they love the witchcraft and obia. All you please, some of them on boards and in high position, they walk in the obia and all that. That's why all they have to do all you're doing what all you didn't even know all you're doing, because they have all your bozuku. Right? Not bozuki. Bozuku, Ministry of Housing, the most concrete housing figures are on grants and active construction. Government said that since taking office, it had issued 208 home improvement grants and 82 home construction grants, totaling 8.2 million. It also said 1,461 housing units were under construction in Arima, Dabadi, Couva, while 35 housing and village improvement program projects were completed and 44 were underway. The home improvement grant program was also described as digitized, with the number of grants targeted to rise to 1,200 in FY 2026. For everyday people, that means this ministry visibly impact is currently strongest in repairs, house starts, and whether lower income families can actually get grant processing moving. Ministry of the People, Social Development and Family Service, Minister Mohit. This ministry reaches straight into the households, the ones who are vulnerable. According to the budget between May and July 2025, 115,252 people receive senior citizens pension. Let me tell you something, Hadassa. There are people who had applied for pension, just back up. For years, you heard some of them say for 2 years they applied and they didn't get, they now get. And it's probably still have those who waiting because it is so much wasteful, shameful PNM leadership. All you had the people suffering, and all you want to talk, put all your face in some boiling water or sand and shut up.
I remember
shut
that.
up. People were waiting for years to get their pension.
Yes. And Vandana Mohit said it was just a simple issue of the Ministry of the People talking to Legal Affairs. And they came together and they got all that backlog. I remember it was very, very early. It was like within her first 2 weeks or so. I remember.
Left the place in a mess. People wasn't getting what they deserve to be getting. Pensioners, people retire. People keep sending me message. They retire. Public servant, guidance officers, whatever. They finish, oh God, they work hard and they're waiting now to get the money so that they could enjoy themselves, go on a trip, do something, relax. It had somebody I knew, I didn't know her personally. She retired and she did not get her money. She died. This is what we need to talk about. That is what Penny and them need to stand up and protest and talk about. Protest on all yourself for what you all didn't do. 65 million food support reached 12,700 homes worth of 23 million disability grants served to 25,600 citizens. Listen, a further 46 million was channeled through NGOs for special service. Listen, that's what NGOs went through. They had these NGOs, see, but single women or women who are displaced or battered women, all those things went down. But those hypocrites, because some of them, they are PNM servers, they don't talk about it. But surely you're going to hear them talking just now. You understand? Because they're going to revamp their home and they're looking for money. They're looking for subvention. They wasn't getting none under the PNM. Right? But they would not give kudos to our Prime Minister and the UNC government, who is doing everything in their power to make sure that the citizens are comfortable, that they get relief. They're not doing it. Ministry of Works, and that is only part, thanks to Minister Vandana, Ministry of Works and Infrastructure. For the average citizen, works matters when roads flood, potholes crack, rims and drains block up before rain. In May 2025, Works Minister, oh, the greatest minister after all, Jolene John, announced
Yes.
114 routine maintenance projects. I watch this woman. This woman is not no young chicken. Yeah, she is over her 60s, and I can't compete. I cannot keep up with her.
She was in her
She
office
is a
5 o'clock in
bionic
the morning.
woman. You understand?
Yeah.
She keeps going. She keeps going early in the morning. I don't even know if she get time to sleep. But I pray God for God to cover her, and I hope she taking her vitamins, because this PNM rundown place that we have to build back up is taking a lot from everybody. Minister Jolene John announced 114 routine maintenance projects across Trinidad and Tobago, focus on flood mitigation, including clearing drains and culverts, unclogging channels. Man, I'm telling you this, it is so much. In the budget, government later said that the water flood mitigation and erosion program will execute 18 ongoing and 119 new projects worth 238.6 million, including 29.95 million for river clearing and the embankments. Listen, under the PNM, as the cloud makeup, we used to get scared
But
because it's flood.
yeah.
Now when you see the cloud, you don't even bother in too much, right? From the time you see an overcast, they get scared. Because I know of places, they have the sandbag and they're ready. Well, I ain't seeing sandbag these days. You understand? And I'm sure there is more. But I'll give all you the rest next week, please, God, because our time has gone. But I want Trinidad and Tobago to know that this government is working, and they're working for you. They're not working for themselves. They're not thieving the money like all you would say, the UNC thief. That is all they have been saying. Some of the older folks, that's all they hear. But the UNC thief and the UNC is causing you to get your pension. The UNC is causing you to get CDAP. You remember you couldn't get it before? So you're as well. You need to shut up, listen, and enjoy the goodness of God. Because under this UNC government, you can feel, touch, and see the goodness of God. Under PNM, you're catching your royal. So don't be a hypocrite. Don't be ungrateful. Because the Bible said it, ungratefulness is worse than witchcraft. So all you get all yourself together. Surround this Prime Minister. Pray for her. Pray that God is going to keep her strong mentally, physically, and otherwise, emotionally, so that she can do what she's doing for this country. Because she's not doing it for herself, she's doing it for all of us. And for her family, of course. Everybody is going to benefit. But all you stop listening to the propaganda National Party leaders. They are a waste of time. They didn't care about you then, and they don't care about you now. And so much, what I am saying, there is so much, I just read it, that has been done in less than a year. And then it has
And
some
that is not
clowns
all
who
of it.
call themselves influencers who would come and talk about what the UNC have done since they have been here for a year. Well, I just read out part. That is only part. Those of you who were not getting water at all, and I know in some areas you're still not getting it all the time, it's going to get better. But that's not what you have to say. Gosh, I take up all your time.
No, no, no. I totally agree, because this is actually very important. Because you know why? It is a lot. And people will forget. They just talk about Trinidadians have a 9-day memory. Things is be fresh in your mind for 9 days, and then it is just fall out of it. So it's very important that we bring this back. But while I'm on, I just want to take 3 minutes to talk about something that's very important, because it's relevant now. And I don't want us to get till next week. There's a lot of talk taking place now with what is happening with our country and CARICOM. And I just wanted to dispel the misinformation, because Kamala Prasad Visesa is simply questioning the very questionable appointment of Dr. Carla Barnett as Secretary General, reappointed for another 5 years, when all of the members were not present, and this was at a secret retreat where Trinidad and Tobago was not present. So I do have a video. It's by one of our local influencers. Very, very objective. His name is Akil Sher, and he brings a lot of good perspective, and I want us to take that in. Can I have that video, please?
People are now so blinded by party loyalty that they are unable to make a distinction between defending transparency and sabotaging unity. The decision to reappoint CARICOM's Secretary General was made at a retreat, not during the official plenary session. All members were not present at the time, and also it was not on the agenda. So Trinidad and Tobago was excluded from that key decision-making forum. And so the government is now contesting that procedure. The argument is about respecting Trinidad and Tobago, who is CARICOM's largest financial contributor. It's about defending transparency and proper process. It's not to target individuals or CARICOM itself, but the party loyalists are acting as if Trinidad and Tobago is trying to undermine regional unity. This is delusional behavior, and it exposes unpatriotic, biased people. Because why would anyone oppose an entity that is championing transparency and institutional integrity? Do you think this entire situation should be contested? Or should we just walk away and leave it alone?
Very good. And it needed to be said, because I am hating this narrative that our Prime Minister is trying to cause discord in CARICOM when she's actually asking for clarity and transparency, which is very important. Another thing, too, it also seems as though Kamla Prasad Visesa has come and she has shaken up the status quo in CARICOM. They do not seem to like the fact that she is very, very clear in her vision in terms of what she wants for her people. And this time around, she does not care what feathers get ruffled, right? So it's happening in Trinidad, but it's also happening in CARICOM, which is the exact reason why she needs to question why they needed to reappoint this woman in secrecy, right? So let us support her because she is only asking for transparency, which is very, very important. That is it for me.
Yes, well, I support you indeed. I support the Prime Minister. And the reason why the PNM and all the others in CARICOM, they are alike. They think alike. It's only what they want to do is to have the citizens under their wing with lies and deception full in their pocket. A bunch of hypocrites. You know, I used to really appreciate the president of Guyana, but even him, right now, I am questioning his integrity because you listen to their statements. I was a fan of the Barbados Prime Minister. Even her, all of them are coming up against our Prime Minister. But like you said, she's not afraid to ruffle anybody's feather because she is not afraid of man. And when you're not afraid of a human being and you know that God, you put God in front and you walk behind, he's going to protect you. And she only means well for the citizens. She said it over and over. Even when the situation was going on with Venezuela, she was concerned about the safety of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Under the PNM, the sleepy Minister of Education was saying it was not his responsibility to take care of us as a citizen. Yeah. They don't care nothing about us, all right? And if you all have any sense at all, the PNM is not about progress. They are not about protecting their citizens. They are about betrayal. They are about fraudulent behavior, doing what they have to do to fill their pocket for the 1% and the rest. They are not concerned about those of you who put your finger in ink to vote for them. So all you better change that concept. Don't put your finger in no ink for no PNM. Let PNM be dead and buried. They must never see the corridor of power again. Because I'm telling you, and I said it the last time, if you put PNM back in power, you will eat the bread that the devil don't need. Not what the devil need. You all will eat the bread that the devil don't need. You all are seeing, I just read out for you, what has took place in this country in less than a year by this UNC government. It's the same thing that happened in 2010 to 2015 when we took up that position. The UNC partnership at the time took the position. PNM had left this country in a mess. She brought it back. Yes. She had big savings. You all need not to forget these things, right? She bought it back, and then they come up with a propaganda, and you all are so wild. You all are so drunk with the Balize juice that you all went back and vote for the PNM. All you give them 2 terms. 2 terms to destroy this place. And now all you want to say, all you're protesting. Okay, it's your right to protest, but protest for what is right. Don't be hypocritical. And this is why I met a nurse in Penal on Saturday. And, you know, she was telling me, and I am saying, for those of you, I know that there are nurses and doctors who work their soul case, according to your great-grandparents when they talk, work their soul case out, they make sacrifice for the patients and whatever. This is not for you. If you know you are not in this category I'm talking about, let it ride off your back as water fly off on duck back. Do not take it personal. But for those of you who are wicked, evil, and just about money, the Bible said the love of money is the root of all evil. Not having money, we need money to pay bills. We need to do things, but the love of money does make all it do the wrong. And that is the PNM. They love the money so much. All they want to stack it up wearing all their shoes and all their pocket all over. That is who they are, and they would bring us down to nothing. But let me say this. Under the UNC, everybody wins. In your ideal situation, everybody wins. Everybody is able to put some food on their table. And if you don't have nothing, seek out your MP. They're going to give you a hamper. They're going to give you things to hold on to until you can get a job based on your certification. One of the things, Hadassa, that creates the problem in this country under the PNM, they put a set of dunce people on board, people to say yes to everything. I'm not saying that all people who are PNM, only don't get me wrong. All of you may not be dunce, but sometimes I wonder what you all study, all right? A lot of dunce people in these boards, state board, so you can't make no decision on your own. Whatever the ministers come and tell you to do, if they tell you to put shit inside the bag, they will take it and put it for most of you. But under this government, she put people who have the education, who have the understanding and the know-how and the certification. But you know what's going on with some of them? The PNM sycophants is still inside there, wrapping them around their finger. But the blood of Jesus cover you all, because sometimes I say, I don't know what is going on. But we are winners. When UNC win, everybody win. And we are winners, and we're going to see it soon and very soon. There are those who are already winning. But for those PNM who are in the ministries and in the agencies and frustrating and making a mockery and telling the ministers, giving them the wrong advice, UPS, all your time coming. All you wouldn't feel good. Turn all your mindset around and do what is right for the citizens of this country, because you ain't doing the Prime Minister nothing. You ain't doing the ministers nothing. It is the citizens who are suffering. Those who cannot do better for themselves. Those who are voiceless and need your help. Those are the people you're suffering. And in some cases, your own supporters of the PNM. But like I said, those of you who are supporting the PNM, it's time to say goodbye. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Listen, I've come to the end of my program. I wish for you all that you all will think about what you're doing. We are celebrating 1 year as the government, and also remember UNC is celebrating 37 years as a party. And on the 25th of April, the rally is going to be in Couva, and those of you who are willing to attend, it is free. Come early, come from 1 o'clock or before that and register, and let us hear of all the things that has been done and what is going to be happening as we go forward. Let us come together as a family. Let us come together with love. Let us come together with some class. Okay, we ain't coming with no bottle of beer in my hand. You're drinking from a glass as a female. Man does drink from bottle. But the PNM don't know what that is. They know how to wine. What they used to say? Money, woman, and sex.
And wine.
That's what they wine. That's what they're about. But we are here to develop this country, to make this country better for every citizen, not just those who support the UNC, but also those who support the PNM. But trust me, you can't get the best position. Goodbye. I love you all. Have a good one. See you all on Sunday morning when I speak the truth according to the Bible. Love you.